Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Sports Culture, and as you know, the Kansas City Chiefs have won the Super Bowl, which means the offseason is now upon us. And what better time than now to drop a mock draft for my favorite team, the Green Bay Packers. And before I get into it, I just want to say I appreciate the support I got on my last two videos on my mock drafts. It really means a lot and encouraged me to make my next one. So without wasting any more time, we're going to go ahead and get into this mock draft number 3. So here we are, pick 25, and Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I picked in my last mock draft, he went at 24. Jackson Powers-Johnson, he went at 21. Terrion Arnold went at 19. Quinion Mitchell went at 18. So basically all the cornerback prospects except for Ennis Ragenstraw Jr., who I believe has an Achilles injury or some type of injury that requires surgery. He's on the board still, so we're going to pass on Ennis Ragenstraw Jr. right here. The guy I am going to go is Ryan Murphy. A lot of people don't pick him in the mock drafts for the Packers. I really like him a lot. He reminds me a lot of Kenny Clark coming out of college. Kenny Clark wasn't the biggest dude at his position, but was very technical with his hands and very good at getting to the quarterback. Brian Murphy is very good at getting to the quarterback, very good with his hands, very technical. But the one thing Brian Murphy has that a lot of other guys at his position in this draft don't have is he's very athletic and very quick off the line. He's not the biggest guy by any means at his position. I only think, 6'1", 308 pounds. Not the biggest guy at his position. You could say he's undersized and awfully quite small for his position, which I won't argue. But he makes up with it with great technical hands, great athleticism, and great quickness off the line. So I like him a lot. When we look 3 to 4 years down the line, or maybe even 2 to 3, we don't know what's going to happen with Kenny Clark. We don't know how many years we have him. And Brian Murphy's a guy who I think could fit Kenny Clark's shoes very well. I like Brian Murphy a lot, so we're not going to waste any more time with this pick. Pick 25, Brian Murphy's a Green Bay Packer. So here we are at pick 41, and Chris Broswell, he's here. He's a very good edge defender. We're not going to go with the edge. We're not doing that, but it's interesting that he fell to this part in my mock. Zach Frazier, who is probably the second or third best center in this entire draft. He's still on the board. He's very intriguing. I wouldn't say he'd be an upgrade over Josh Myers right off the bat, but maybe down the line he could improve to be better. Chris Jenkins, he's here as well. If we didn't go Brian Murphy, Chris Jenkins, a guy I like a lot. Xavier Leggett, very big, physical wide receiver, reminds me a lot like DK Metcalf. He's here. Patrick Paul, a big big tackle, 6'7". He's here from Houston. It'd be interesting. I don't know if he'd be upgrade over Rasheed Walker. It'd be good competition, but like I said, with these picks in the first 3 rounds, I'm not gonna go O-line. With this pick right here, I am gonna go Tyler Nubbin. In hopes of matching him up with another safety in this draft class that I really like a lot. Tyler Nubbin, 6'2", 210 pounds. I already talked about him in my previous mock draft. Jeff Hafley wants to run a lot of single high safety looks. Tyler Nubbin's a guy, 6'2", 210 pounds. Very good coverage guy, showing some flashes of man coverage. He's a guy that can fit that single high safety look very well. Good frame. Not as quick, silent as Cameron Kitchens, but he has some great speed. I think him or Cameron Kitchens are 1A, 1B for best safety. So with this pick right here, we are going to draft 1A or 1B for best safety in Tyler Nubbin. And with this pick right here, pick 57, we are going to go linebacker. Again, going to this offseason, a lot of question marks at that linebacker position. If we're going to bring back Devondre Campbell, my guess is we probably won't. But besides that, I think we need to add somebody else, with Quay Walker, someone that's silent, someone that's very athletic. Jamar Trotter Jr., he's a very good run defender, solid coverage guy. Not as athletic as the 2 other guys on this board that I like a little bit more, but Jamar Trotter Jr. is a very good linebacker, 6 foot, 230 pounds. Doesn't have the frame that these other 2 guys that I like have as well. And in my opinion, he's just not a Packers fit. Edgar and Cooper, who in my last mock draft, I drafted Edgar and Cooper. And in this mock draft, I am going to draft him again. Edgar and Cooper is a guy, when I watch the film, man, he just stands out. He is phenomenal at stopping the run. Very physical, great tackler in space. Very good coverage guy, zone coverage. Shown some flashes of man coverage. But when I think of him and Quay Walker for many years being a top 5 linebacker duo in the entire league. Both of these guys have big frames, 6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds. Big guy, very athletic, sideline to sideline, very physical. And I think him and Quay Walker would just complement each other very well. 2 guys that are very good at tackling in space, very athletic, very physical. I already talked about him in my last mock draft and why he'd be a great fit with Quay Walker, so I'm not going to do it as much. So with this pick right here, at pick 57, we're going Edgar and Cooper, who I really like a lot. So as you see, we have made a trade with the Atlanta Falcons, and in my eyes, we absolutely finessed the Atlanta Falcons. We're gonna trade pick 91, 125, and 203 to get pick 74 and 189. So honestly, not a bad trade up at all, considering what we got gave up and what we got back in return. And we're gonna hope that the guy that I made this trade for is still there at 74. And I picked 74. The guy I've been raving about for multiple mock drafts is here, and that is Javon Bullard. He's a guy I'm really, really high on, and I think is going to be the best safety in this entire draft. You could ask any Georgia fan, they will talk about this guy and rave about him for minutes, maybe hours. He brings a lot of leadership, great coverage skills, by far the best coverage safety in this entire draft. Primarily, that comes because he played a lot of cornerback while at Georgia and just made the transition to safety, but very physical, tackles great in space. I just recommend anybody who hasn't watched the film on Javon Bullard, please go watch the film on this guy. It is incredible. He brings the leadership, he brings the discipline, he brings the grit. Very physical, tackles well in space, great coverage guy, and I just think he's what the Packers have been missing in the back end at that safety position for the last couple of years. Someone who's very, very physical, great coverage skills. By far, Javon Bullard is the most instinctive safety in this entire draft. He offers great instinctive skills, very versatile as well. Might just be the most versatile safety as well in this entire draft. He could do it all, line up in the slot, play in the box, play deep. But the one thing I like about Javon Bullard the most is he's very good in zone coverage, but in man coverage, he plays great as well. He's very physical, very press heavy, loves to use his hands. The only true knock about him is his frame, being at 5'11", 195 pounds. But when you watch the tape, he plays bigger than that. I know his run defense grade doesn't look too hot right here, but watch the film on this guy. Watch the tape. He stands out. He's very solid in the sideline, very physical. Like I said, I really believe Javon Bullard's skill set really complements Tyler Nubbin's skill set very well. And when I draft Javon Bullard here, I'm looking at a safety duo that could probably be the best in the NFL for many years to come. I'm really high on Javon Bullard, like I've been talking about this whole time. I think he's going to be phenomenal in the next level in the NFL. He has some really good discipline, really good leader, really physical. I'm just going to stop talking about him right now. Javon Bullard's the pick. Here we are, pick 88. Trey Benson just went right before us, so that sucks a lot. I think that would have been the icing on the cake if we drafted him. Some guys on the board that I really like a lot. Christian Magny, great guard prospect. DJ James, a great cornerback out of Auburn. He's here. Blake Corum, great running back out of Michigan. A lot of guys like. I'm not too high on, not the biggest, most athletic guy in this draft at that position, but I think he'd honestly be a great offensive scheme fit for this team, and I think if we drafted him, he'd be a guy who we could put in and he'd play almost really good or really well right off the bat. Jerrion Jones, he's here as well, and I'm really leaning between him and Cooper Beebe, who I drafted last time in one of my other mock drafts. He's a guy who just screams Green Bay Packer. I mean, this guy's versatile as hell. Could play at the guard, play at the tackle, and he just screams Packer because of his versatility. But with this pick right here, I am going Jerrion Jones. I like this pick right here because we don't know what's going to happen at the slot cornerback position. Jerrion Jones this year lined it up in the slot, and he played pretty damn well. In previous years, he has played on the boundary, but this year he played primarily in the slot, and he played really good. And I think he'd be a great defensive scheme fit. Great press man corner, especially under this new defensive scheme with Jeff Hafley. He wants to play a lot of man press, but like I said, we don't know what's going to happen at that slot cornerback position. We don't know if we're going to re-sign Keyshawn Nixon, who I do want to be back on this team, but I want Keyshawn Nixon back for his kick return abilities, not more for his coverage abilities. So with this pick right here, I am going to go Jerrion Jones, who's a great slot cornerback, would definitely be a great fit at that slot cornerback position for us, and this would primarily move Jair to the boundary, which I want. I want Jair to be guarding the best, of the best receivers, which primarily line out, on the boundary. I think Jair is a phenomenal man corner, phenomenal press corner, and I think he excels on the boundary more than he does in the slot or in the nickel like other guys think. So with this pick right here, we are going Jerrion Jones, and we're going to solidify this secondary even more. So here we are at pick 135, and there's a guy a lot of people like, and Braylon Allen, who I like as well. I'm not as high as other people are, but he's by far the best running back prospect on the board. He offers the most upside and potential. Only being 20 years old, I believe, 20 years old, 6'2", 245 pounds. He's a very big running back. A lot of people are saying he's a very big running back, just like A.J. Dillon. He's the AJ Dillon with actual explosiveness and quickness, which I believe this guy at the combine is going to probably run close to the 4.4s, maybe the 4.5s at most, early, late 4.3s. So he's really explosive for his size, very big. Needs to work on his hands out the backfield, but like again, being 20 years old, he has a lot of time to improve at that. And him and Aaron Jones would be an interesting running back duo. I think Braylon Allen's a guy who's very physical, very explosive, like I said, for his size, would fit this team very well. Coming from Wisconsin, knows how to play in the cold, has been in this cold weather before, and I like this pick right here. Wisconsin guy. Keep him in Wisconsin. A lot of people like him a lot. A lot of people are telling me to get him in my last mocks. I like the pick right here. I think he's the best on the board. So with this pick, we are going Braylon Allen. I love the age at 20. I love the upside. I love the potential. I love how explosive he is for his size. And him being only 20 years old gives me hope that we could develop him into, a complete running back and a guy that 3 to 4 years down the line, or maybe even two, could take the reins from Aaron Jones and be, a starting running back in the league, but not just that, a really good one. So with this pick at 135, we're going Braylon Allen to be the running back of the future. So I picked 189 right here. There's three guys I like a lot. Javion Cohen, who's a guard from Miami, who's a very good pass blocker. He's on the board. Jalen Harrell from Michigan, my bad. He is on the board as well. He's very good at getting to the quarterback. This pick right here, I'm going to go down a little bit to Andrew Coker, who's a 6'7" tackle, or 6'8", I believe. He's a big guy. He has 6'7", 315 pounds. He's a tackle from TCU, primarily good in pass blocking, not too good at run blocking, but I'm drafting him to bring competition for Walker, Zach Tom, and he's a young prospect as well, not too fairly old. He's a guy who I think we could develop, as a better run blocker. He already is a good pass blocker. We're drafting him for the athletic frame because he is athletic for 6'7", and we're drafting him because of that big frame at 6'7". So with this pick right here, we are going Andrew Coker. We are going to address the O-line just a little bit. He has played some left tackle and right tackle before. A small majority snaps in right guard, so there is that versatility, you could say. But with this pick right here, we are going Andrew Coker. And with this pick right here, it's a guy I really like a lot. I drafted him in most of my mock drafts. It's between these two guys right here. I think we're able to get both of them. Donovan Jennings is another tackle prospect I really like a lot. He's on the board. Evan Anderson, though, is going to be my pick. His only true knock is that he played at Florida Atlantic, but this guy is a really good D lineman. You can't have enough D linemen. I know we went Brian Murphy earlier in the draft, but this guy is versatile. He can play in the A gap, the B gap. It's getting later on in the draft where you just draft guys who have shown a lot on film, very technical, use their hands well. And although his biggest knock is that he didn't play against the best talent, at this point in the draft, you're drafting the guys who you think have the most talent and have the most upside in the potential. So with this pick, I think Evan Anderson is a guy who on the board right now has the most upside and potential. So we are going Evan Anderson with pick 217. So we have him in a trade. We're hoping that a guy I like falls a little bit more. We're going to go from 219 to 224, and then we're also going to move up from 246 to 232. So not a bad trade by any means. Well, let's hope the guy I want falls back. With this pick right here, my guy did fall back, and then it's Tanier Bortolino. I believe I said that last name right. He's a very intriguing center prospect from Wisconsin. Really good pass blocker. Didn't have the best year this year, but we're banking him falling back to that 2022 year or even that 2021 year. But in his 3 years at the collegiate level, has only allowed 3 sacks. And he offers a lot of versatility. The Packers love the versatility. He's played primarily a lot of snaps this year at center, but has played a lot of snaps at guard. Has even played some snaps at right tackle. So this guy's just versatile as hell. He just screams Green Bay Packer from Wisconsin as well. So 6'4", 310 pounds. I really like him a lot. Some of my mock drafts, I do tend to pick him around this area. So with this pick, we are going Tanier Bortolino with pick 224. Now, look, this is going to last pick at 232, and there's some guys I like on the board. Brian Ugru, who has athletic limitations, played at Miami, Red Hawks, so didn't play against the best talent. He's a guy who's intriguing here. Like I said, has a lot of athletic limitations, so his ceiling is not too high in the league. But with this pick right here, I know a lot of people might flame me in the comments. Another safety, really, but Josh Proctor is probably the best talent on the board still. He's a big guy, 6'2", 6'3", I believe. He played pretty well at the Senior Bowl. I liked what I seen at the Senior Bowl. He doesn't offer too much in coverage, honestly, but he's a really good run defender. Forcing completion rate 21.9, which is really high. Average depth of run tackle, which is 6.0. So he's tackling guys averagely before they get, past that like 10-yard range, where it gets really bad. So he's not doing too bad right there. Has played some box, has played some deep, has played some slot. He's just a guy who I think is the best on the board right now. Just in case one of our safeties we draft don't plan out, Josh Proctor could probably be a guy, but he's just a special teams pick mainly at this spot right here, a backup, safety type role. But with this pick right here, I am going to go Josh Proctor. Don't flame me in the comments for another safety. It is what it is. He's the best talent on the board. So with this pick, 232, my last pick, Josh Proctor. So here's what PFF graded my draft. Sorry for my cam, it went out, but with our first pick, we went Brian Murphy, got a B plus for that. Second pick, we went Tyler Nubbin, who's either the best safety or the second best safety in this draft. We got a C plus for that. With the third pick, we got Edgar and Cooper. We got a C for that. I think Edgar and Cooper and Quay Walker could be a great linebacker duo for many years, so I'm honestly okay with that. Then remember we made the trade with the Atlanta Falcons to get pick 74. It's not showing on this mock thing right here, but with that pick we got Javon Bullard, who in my opinion is going to be the best safety from this entire draft class. Matching him and Tyler Nubbin is just building one of the more dynamic safety duos in the entire league. I think both of their skill sets complement each other very well, and I think that's a phenomenal pick. They gave us an A- for that, so they know it is. At pick 88, we got Jarian Jones, who's a great defensive scheme fit. Primarily played a lot of slot cornerback this year, which is good because we don't know what's going to happen at that slot cornerback position. And this pick primarily means we're going to kick Jair to the boundary, which I feel more comfortable with Jair guarding the best receivers in the game, who primarily line up on the boundary. So getting Jair on the boundary is good, and getting a good slot cornerback in return is even better. So with that pick 88, they gave us a C for Jarian Jones. I'm okay with that. Pick 135, we got Braylon Allen. They give us an A- for that. Like I said, Braylon Allen, when we drafted him, best talent on the board, best upside on the board for that position without a doubt. Only being 20 years old, I love the pick. He could definitely develop into a dual running back, a dual threat running back, someone that could definitely tote the football, run the football very well, but could come out the backfield and catch the football very well. So at 20 years old, being 6'2", 245 pounds, but being very explosive for that weight and for that size, I love this pick right here. They gave us an A- for it. I love it. Then at pick 189, we got Andrew Coker, who is a good pass blocker. Like I said, the Packers are primarily moving into a pass-first offense, so why not get another guy who could really pass block very well in Andrew Coker and just bring competition for Rasheed Walker and Zach Tom. Then at pick 217, we got Evan Anderson, who I really like a lot. He reminds me a lot like Carl Brooks from last year. Carl Brooks' biggest knock was that he played at a lesser school, not playing the best talent. That's the same thing with Evan Anderson this year. He played at Florida Atlantic, so his biggest knock is not that he didn't play against greatest talent, but when he wants to film with Evan Anderson, he has great technique, uses his hands very well, doesn't rely on his big body and his big frame as much, and uses his hands very well, very quick off the line. And I love this pick right here. I think he's another Carl Brooks type of guy. You can't have enough guys that could get to the quarterback and stop the run. So with the pick 217, we got Evan Anderson. They gave us a B+. Then at 224, we got Tanner Bortolino, who's a very versatile center. Played center this year, has played a guard primarily in other years, has played some snaps at right tackle. He's just a versatile guy. Screams Green Bay Packer pick from Wisconsin. I love the pick right there. They gave us a C for that. It is what it is. Then we traded back from 219 to 224. Then we traded up from 246 to 232. And with that pick at 232, we got Josh Proctor, who I really like a lot. Don't flame me in the comments. I know we drafted another safety, but he was by far the best talent on the board. He's another guy who could come in, be a backup safety in the league or be a really good special teamer. And I think with this pick right here, we just went with best upside, best talent, and best athletic profile, which I think Josh Proctor fits all three of those. And he's a guy who could definitely be a good special teamer for the Green Bay Packers. So overall, they gave us a B for the overall draft grade. I thought it was a phenomenal grade, a phenomenal draft. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about this draft. I am going to be drafting more, making more mock drafts pretty soon. I'm going to be making one for the first round for every team in the next couple of days. So let me know what you guys think. Like and comment on this video. I'm out.